Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here in The Sims 4 and we're here for a bit of a bonus episode, you lucky people. So yeah, this is part of the Winter Wonderland collab number 2. So the first one was last year and this is the second year that it's been going, and I thought this would be right up my alley. So yeah, I love Christmas and winter, and yeah, so that's really what I wanted to kind of get in here, and I had so much fun with this build. So a little bit of a sneak peek, we started, this build was actually started right the way back at the end of like September. I knew this week was gonna be absolutely mental for me. It is every year, I'm kind of prepared for it. So I knew I wanted to get so much content out, and obviously I needed to have a break for like Christmas and the holidays, and I knew I was gonna go away and things like that, and it's all happened as planned. So thankful I actually planned ahead. Because I then probably came home and became ill. So you know, yeah, I have kind of just recovered. My voice may break. This is a very long voiceover. This is a very long video. So what I would actually suggest is to go and grab yourself a drink, whether it be tea, a coffee, or something of the adult variety. Go for it. Or nice hot chocolate. And get yourselves into the winter kind of feel of this build. So I've already done quite a bit. So as I said, this was actually started back in the end of September, and I basically block built all of the landscaping. So everything you're seeing here, all without snow, that was done in September. We then kind of move in to doing the outside, which was around about October time, and then I think I furnished all of this just after Life and Death came out. So this kind of has been ready for a couple of weeks, and it's kind of been sitting here, and I've kind of been looking and going, should I do more? But no, honestly, it's, yeah, once it's done, I think I'm happy with it, and yeah. Obviously, let me know what you think, if you're liking it, if you're not liking it, down in the comments below. This is a huge, well, I say huge castle. It actually ends up only having 3 bedrooms, but it is a huge bedroom. It is a huge castle, with kind of lots of detail in it in places. It's not quite historically correct, I think is probably one way I would put it. It's an old building, but it's not in the historic save, if that makes any sense to anybody who knows me. I love history, I love old buildings and architecture, and kind of trying to get as much of that in to the game as I possibly can. This isn't quite a historic build. I've kind of fluffed this a little bit to try and get it to kind of be more in keeping with what I wanted it to be, more than accurate. Let's put it that way. I think that's probably the better way of putting it in here. So I spend forever, and I do literally mean forever, playing around with rocks and rotating, manipulating, using tool to try to get these in. So I wanted this to be elevated on a cliff top, on kind of the Isle. So this is actually, and I forgot to tell you right at the beginning, anyway, if you're still with me, this is on the Crumbling Isles in Windenburg. I think that's what the neighbourhood is. I know it's definitely Windenburg. I think it's on the 64 by 64 there. It is a huge big build and a big lot, but I really wanted that. I feel like I need a little bit of space for the castle. Obviously we have done some more historic builds on slightly smaller lots, but I thought for this one I really wanted to kind of go a little bit larger. Why not? In here. So that is what we have done, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. So yeah, lots of the rock work, lots of planting coming through in here. We've also got this little pond. Because I knew I was going to put it into winter, this bit here, I think it's actually recorded in like the summer. Obviously, as I say, it was recorded in September, but where it was actually in sort of gameplay seasons, I think it was summer. And then I kind of jump ahead in a little while where we're going to basically be inundated with snow. And yeah, it's all going to turn out very white. But I knew I wanted to get the landscaping in where I could actually sort of see what's happening. I have kind of built other builds where I've allowed it to snow first and then trying to put in like terrain paint or planting or anything like that in, and it's quite difficult because the plants don't look like the plants you want them to be. I think if anyone remembers the wintry family home that I did last week, last week, it was only on Tuesday. if you're watching this right now, the plants for that, they were all in their kind of winter state, and it was quite difficult to actually work out how much space they needed, if they were gonna sort of mesh together, and if it was gonna work. And I actually had a lot of problems trying to do that because I couldn't visualize it in my head because I couldn't see it. So for this, that's why we decided to do it in summer and get the sort of landscaping done. But we're gonna jump over onto the actual build first of all. So by kind of putting in this terrain and kind of moving in, I have shrunk the lot slightly. I've also put in a nice big drive up the front here, so you have that really nice sweeping kind of drive in here. There is a lot of space where I could have done something else, and I was kind of tempted to kind of make this into a bit of an L-shaped kind of building, but honestly, it didn't quite feel right to me. It felt like it needed to be kind of more long, and you'll sort of see as I'm here doing the floor plan and trying to work out how all of this all works and what I wanted it to look like. We kind of use a little bit of curved walls, we get in some sticky out pokey bits, and we get some sort of turrets, and yeah, this becomes a bit of a mess. I have to be fair, and you're gonna sort of see how we do it here. So the ground floor is huge. There's no getting away from it. The ground floor is a huge building. And then upstairs, I try to cut out kind of as much as I possibly can in the terms that I want it to be a little bit smaller. And I think that really works in here. Kind of part of me kind of wishes I would have had slightly more in the terms of like the upstairs kind of bedrooms and things like that, because I feel like 3 bedrooms for a build this sort of size isn't really that many, but it was all I could get in. And when you come and see the interior kind of floor plan and things like that, I think you'll kind of work out and understand why it was so difficult to kind of get all of that in here. But we are starting on the roofing and getting in all of the details and all of the bits and pieces in here. So we do have some nice little single story pieces here. That actually turns out to be the living room, which I think is a kind of a gorgeous build and colour in here. Now, I should probably give you a slight disclaimer. If you do not like the colour white, I would stop watching here. I got so frustrated with colour white for this build because everything was white, and I mean everything. There was so much of it that it was just like, I never want to see that colour ever again. And as I say, you'll understand when you see this build, because yeah, without giving too much away, everything is white. From the walls, the furniture, to, yeah, even the Sims that I actually play tested, and you'll see them at the end, all of their clothing is white. Everything is white. And you know, like when you see something or you do something and you're just like, oh, I want to just mix it up and add a little bit of red to a build, or a little bit of black or yellow or green. I was so tempted to kind of do that for this build, and I so nearly did on so many attempts, and I had to kind of restrain myself at every sort of turn because I was so frustrated with colour white. But yeah, that's a spoiler alert for coming up when we get into the interior. So at the moment I'm still faffing around with wall heights and roofing and things like that, and I could not get it to really work as well as I wanted it to. But I think we eventually kind of settle with what we've got in here. So you'll sort of see me coming in here. I should have stopped it from snowing. I did actually build this with the snow on, which makes it a little bit more challenging, but not the who bad in here. So this part we don't have life and death, so at the moment I'm using purely the castle kit for all of this. So you'll sort of see I'm putting in fences and trellises and bits and pieces from that, and obviously the wallpaper and stuff, just to kind of break it up a little bit and make it look a little bit better in here, and so we can sort of see what we're doing in there as well. And then obviously this is not a pack exclusive. I've kind of used as much as I possibly can from as many packs as I possibly can. I didn't want to restrict myself, but I knew obviously that we were going to be doing it in Windenburg, so I tried to do the planting as sort of sympathetically as I can to that. There is obviously some from Jungle Adventure, not Jungle Adventure, Snowy Escapes. Why did that come out? Anyway, moving swiftly on. Nobody knows. We've then jumped into the castle pack in here with the windows, the doors, the wallpaper and stuff like that. And this was simply because this is what I had available, and I knew I was going to build a castle, and I knew I wanted it to really kind of fit and work in here really, really nicely. So yeah, that's kind of what we've done in here. And as per usual, I only show you the front of any of the builds. Obviously the back is all windowed, it is all doored, everything is sort of all done, wallpapered, the whole lot. It's just we would be here forever if I showed you everything, as I'm now doing with the roof. Anyway, there was a little bit of an issue with the roof because I've actually doubled up the roof pieces because I wanted a trim, but not quite as bad as a trim as what it would have shown me. So I actually have two roofs on top of each other. The textures of them don't seem to want to work properly. I don't know what that is, and I don't know whether that was me just having a little bit of an issue or whether that's going to be for all of them. But yeah, there was a slight problem with how that all works. But anyway, now we are on to the interior in here, and you're sort of seeing now the shape and the size of the problem I have. Yeah, I build from the outside in, and this has always been a problem for me, and it has always been something that I have tried to kind of fix and work around. The problem I have is that I like the outsides to be pretty, and I do those first and then I move on to the interior. That leaves me with the problem in right now of what on earth am I doing? Because it just does not work. So yeah, in the end we kind of settle on this, and as I say, this is where we get in a lot of the colour, or a lot of white. So we have black and white marble flooring because I thought that's just perfect for downstairs, and then we have the white kind of herringbone flooring. It's not quite herringbone, but it gives you the impression that it is flooring downstairs. So this is now with life and death. So this is now going to be filmed just a couple of weeks ago in here where we do the interior work. And yeah, I've got to be fair, this build, although I'm saying that I don't particularly like, and I kind of got frustrated with the white, I actually really do like this build. And I think it grew on me the more I was doing with it, because I think I could see that it was being done, rather than it kind of just being like done and I'm not like overly happy with it. Which, I mean, to be fair, if I tell you I'm not happy with the build, I will tell you if I'm not happy. or it just doesn't go out. That's simply how it works in here. But we do play around, and we do gain a few little other bits and pieces. So this grand hallway in here, where I didn't really know what to do with this space. So in the end, we managed to get a couple of the big plants from my wedding stories. These vases I absolutely love, I've got to be honest. They are perfect for kind of going in these little areas. You always notice there's no handrail on the stairs. So I went for style over safety, I guess, for here. Because it's 2 staircases side by side, they would have had a handrail going up the middle. It just doesn't look right. I wanted that sort of large sweeping stairs that you kind of see in castles and old houses, and I just couldn't get it to work. What I did cut out is I tried to use a platform to kind of do it so I could have one staircase on the bottom. It just didn't fit in with the space I had. It wanted too much, sort of too many tiles in the middle, so that had to go. So that is 2 separate staircases, but it does mean I had to lose the handrails. But yeah, a couple of little armchairs, a nice kind of little seating area there. It has no real functionality to it, but hey, it works. So yeah, we are now jumping over into the kitchen over here. This was really the only place I could put this such weird, or like, I had this weird room that had so many little like pop outs and stuff, and I really didn't know what to do with it. So in the end, we went for the kitchen in here. And again, I think it's one of those that just grew on me, and it's one that kind of actually I can go at the end, yeah, I like that. So we have a round little island in the middle, and then we have this sort of U shape, I guess we can call it, kind of counters all the way in here. And as per usual, I have not shown you me pulling out the thousands of objects that are in here. I do make sure that this build has been playtested and that it works, and your Sims can cook food and things like that. There are counters where they're empty. Sometimes I forget and I just clutter everything, not realising that actually you need at least one counter. But there is this in here as well, so you can definitely cook food. I have playtested it and they have cooked, and they've survived for about 3 days. So at that point, I'm done with gameplay. In here, I am not somebody who likes gameplay. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. In here, so yeah, I will go around and I will change all of the sort of items to white and do all of that. But this was a really nice kitchen. It's quite big. It's quite a sort of decent size. I do also manage to get a whole row of sort of tall cabinets on the other side, again just to kind of fill out some space because it was so large. And this is another filler, I guess we can say, because hello and welcome to the cinema. Yeah, you heard that right. I had this room. It was originally going to be the dining room, but it just didn't feel right to use a dining room in here. So in the end, we have gone for a cinema. A white cinema, but a cinema nevertheless, in here. So I thought, what is a better kind of build? Like, what would you have in a build this large and ostentatious and things like that? And I thought, let's just put in a huge big television and let's make our own sort of little cinema space. So that's what we have done in here. A few little candles on the wall, and then I think I put a few rugs down as well. And then you kind of have like your little home cinema in there, and because it is only one step down, your Sims can just step straight on down to all of those, regardless of the fact that they're on different platforms. And it was just something to fill in here. I have a library, I have an office. I didn't know what to do with it. I did think about putting maybe in like the big vault thing, but that would have taken up a little bit too much space. So I decided not to do that, and yeah, we have a little cinema in there. I did also think about having like a gym, but I didn't think a lot of the gym equipment needs a lot of space, and I didn't really feel like a gym in here would really work. So yeah, I don't know. What would have you done with the space? Let me know in here. But we're now moving over to the dining table and the dining room. I have managed to place like some holly and some candles down on the table. I have gone for a double table simply because I had the space, and that's one thing I think I'm going to say repeatedly for this build. I had the space, especially when it comes to downstairs. It is so large, it is so over the top, it is so hilarious of how large this is compared to the upstairs. So yeah, there's that. But we're now moving over to the other side of the room where we are working on a little bit more of a chill out zone. So I think maybe like pre-dinner drinks, or maybe even post-dinner, like you just kind of want to sit down and have a drink and things like that. I thought a nice chilled zone in here would be perfect. And yeah, lots of life and death. I feel like I've used this pack quite a bit in this build. I wasn't really sure if it would work when we kind of got it, and I thought, oh, how is this going to work in sort of like everyday kind of builds, everyday kind of builds, and here's a castle. But like in so many different builds, because I wasn't sure it would work. But bringing it into here, there is so much stuff that could and does work as a result of it. So yeah, I feel like that pack, for all of me saying, oh, I'm not sure about it, actually we managed to get it in quite a lot in here. And yeah, so now welcome into the library. I only show you this one, I don't actually show you the home office. There is screenshots of that at the end, so if you want to see that, you can just see that in the screenshots, or you can download this build. It is available on the gallery right now. Either just search for my ID, which is MissKinghorn, or you can just type in the Snow Castle. I imagine you're going to get quite a few of those, but it will also be under the hashtag the Winter Wonderland Collab 2, so you can check that one out as well. And then obviously all of the other builds by the amazing creators on here. So this is actually only my second collab, and second this year. I only did the other one back earlier in the spring, so this was a nice little different change, completely kind of different build, yet still a 64 by 64, but I thought, why not do another one? And I had so much fun with the first one that I thought it would be perfect in here. And yeah, who doesn't love a castle? I have to be fair, I do. I am partial to a castle or historic build every once in a while. So yeah, this coming through, and I do get in the black sort of chest set, and I looked at it and I ummed and ahed and I questioned whether I could do it away with it, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna sneak in as much colour as I possibly can into this build without it being too over the top. So yeah, there are hints of colour, but mainly it is white in here as well. We are definitely building a white snowy kind of castle in here. Yeah. I don't necessarily know how I can explain it. There is a lot of white, there is a lot of snow, and very little else in terms of colour coming through in here. Now, this room actually has two fireplaces, so I feel like this is a really nice, snug kind of room, although it's huge. I made a bit of a mistake when I did the floor plan. And not necessarily a mistake, I went too large. I think is probably is a safer way of putting it. I went way too large, and I didn't really even realise when I was doing it until I got to the furnishing point. And what you're not seeing is the cuts that I make where I have my head in my hands for like 10 minutes solid of what on earth am I going to do. how am I going to furnish this? This is never going to look right. Yeah, there were lots of those in here, and I did honestly think about giving up and doing something smaller. But you know, like when you're so far into a build, you just kind of have to go, we're sticking with it. I'm not going back. I'm not going to redo something else. So yeah, in the end I stuck with it, and I think it was the right decision in there. But at the time, no. At the time I so wanted to abort. But I've grown to love this build, and I think it does really work in here. I would actually quite like this for gameplay. If I had like a rich kind of family that I thought could really work in here. And this is actually a family home, so as we have moved up to the bedrooms and the upstairs space, let me tell you about who is going into this house. So the family I kind of created in my head, it was two elders, I guess we can probably say, their daughter, husband, and their twin girls. One of them I kept home from school, the other one I sent to school. So you do have a twin room, but you can obviously change this up to however you want. So if you wanted, you've also got the kind of parents' main grand suite, and then you have another kind of double bedroom which you could easily use as like a teenager's bedroom, or you could have that as I've done for like the kind of young adults who are married and have their own sort of kid but want to kind of live in like the family kind of home because this is what they've grown up with, and they're maybe not royalty, but they're like of some importance, I guess is probably the best word to kind of put it, that they have some ties, that this is like their historical family home, and throughout the generations it's been done up, and yeah, this is now where they call home and things like that. But this is the main kind of parents, the big bedroom, I guess we can probably call it, in here, where we have another fireplace, and using the canopy from the Love Struck, I was brain freeze, in here I've managed to make this kind of ornate bed a little bit more modern in here, which is kind of what I wanted. And then we are coming in with a little seating area over here, and I do manage to get some black in. I've never loved more colour in here. So we do have a couple of black cushions and a little bit of black coming through on the rug, and then yeah, we also have white and gold and things like that, but I had to get my colour in wherever I could in here, because I really wanted this to be a nice kind of a quiet kind of space without maybe the children, somewhere that they can like retreat to at the end of the day, that's just for like this couple. And that's kind of what I was kind of aiming for. And obviously this is a huge big sort of suite, so they have their own sort of seating area, and they have their own like bed area, sort of sleeping, and then they have a huge master bathroom, and you're gonna sort of see that in just a second, because I am showing you a bathroom. Strangely, there is one bathroom downstairs, and then there is the ensuite for this room, and then there's two other bathrooms, so there's 4 in total on this build, which is actually pretty decent, especially given the fact it is only a 3-bedroom home. But I feel like if they're doing a lot of kind of entertaining and things like that, that's what the downstairs bathroom would kind of be for in here. So this bathroom up here is actually in the turret space, and I had so much fun doing this bathroom, I have to be fair. So this is mainly made up of the bathroom stuff from Life and Death. I feel like most of this build is from Life and Death, to be fair, in here. But this bath, I love it. This sort of gold and white marble, yeah, it worked in here really, really well. Annoyingly, it doesn't come with a toilet. Do you know how for years we've been saying we do not need more toilets, and how we have way too many, and yeah, if you're going to do a bathroom set, can you please do a whole bathroom set? I don't understand why toilets get missed out. I mean, it's one item, yes, but I don't know. Anyway, coming into here, so we're placing a few little bits of sort of clutter around, but nothing kind of too major in here. I didn't want to kind of go over the top. I mean, it is a castle covered in snow, but you know, we didn't want to go over the top with how this build sort of looks into here. But yes, moving now on to the sort of second bedroom. So this is another double in here. So yeah, this is the bedroom that could either be used as like a teenage kind of girl's bedroom, or it could be used, as I have done for kind of the family that I've got in here, as being kind of the parents of the twins that are next door. So kind of like young, like adults or young adults, I guess is probably what they would be in here, while like their elderly parents. Is kind of like 3 generations I've kind of put into here, sort of living in this sort of house. This one's a little bit more modern. I kind of felt like they would maybe have bought some of their stuff with them, or they have kind of got like their own jobs or their own money and have kind of like done it up for themselves a little bit more. And where the rest of the house clutter is kind of limited, in here I kind of went full on. At this point I knew I only had 2 rooms to go, and yeah, I kind of took it full force with that. So yeah, I have to be fair, this was, as I say, was a really fun build to do. It was kind of different to what I would normally be doing in here, but yet still kind of bringing in lots of pieces that I absolutely love all together in here. And yeah, you also, very lucky people, have one more video coming up, so you're going to see that's going to be back on Tuesday. So we're going to get back onto our normal sort of schedule with that. And yeah, as I say, it is going to be another fun build. But if you don't watch that and you're only watching this video, then I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If you are celebrating, if you are just hanging out with friends, family, I know this time of the year can be difficult for some people, so if you just want to have a massive game session, go for it. I have been known to go for a good couple of days. I feel like because it's also like the time, I can remember when I wasn't buying the packs straight away, where I was like, you were only getting them for like your birthday, your Christmas, and things like that. So yeah, I would then, as soon as like all of the official bits, I guess you can say, like unwrapping presents, having dinner, do that, I was like, right, okay, I'm off. Like, you know, I'm gonna go and install, I'm gonna go and play, I'm gonna go and do, yeah, I felt like I was doing small things. So yeah, very much enjoy the next couple of days if you possibly can. And yeah, I will see you, hopefully, as I say, we've got one more video to go, and yeah, I hope you enjoy that. But for now, you can, as I say, find this build on the gallery. You can find that under my ID, which is MissKinghorn, in there, and you can follow me on pretty much all social medias. The links to those are down in the description, so you can check that out, as well as what this build is actually called. So if you do search it for the gallery, check that one out as well in there. But we have one more build to go, that I room to go, and I have totally forgotten about it in here. So we are cluttering up this kind of little sort of vanity table in here, trying to get this all to work. And I forgot that we were going to have a fireplace in here, so I had to move stuff. So this is now the twins' bedroom in here. This is kind of a very simple room. I didn't really know, although I had it as twin girls in here, I kind of thought maybe not, like I wasn't entirely sure. So obviously with it being white, it kind of maybe leads a little bit more to being a girls. But obviously you can play it however you want. If you want to turn everything the complete opposite and go for maybe a black castle, you probably can find enough swatches to do that in there. You can definitely do that one out. There are a few little hints of colour coming through, as I say, in rugs, in flowers, in bits and pieces, but for the most part this is all white. And yeah, I am never doing a white build again. Anyway, we gained a couple of toys and a couple of bits and pieces and things like that, just to kind of make this kids room feel a bit more like a kids room, because yeah. Anyway, I will leave you here with the screenshots, and yeah, I hope to see you again soon. You can obviously subscribe to my channel and check out any other videos as well. But until then, stay happy and stay building. Alright, bye everyone!